Um, I've known our next speaker for over 5 years. I had the privilege of having him speak actually a number of times at my CEO groups. When I first heard Edgar's message, I thought it was literally the single most logical framework for thinking about business that I'd ever heard. And I was taken by it. Edgar is a singer, he's a songwriter, he's a musician, he is a culinary trained chef, he's an award-winning pie baker, and a close friend and colleague. And here is Edgar Papke with his talk, Creativity and the Human Art of Business.
Thank you. I'd like to begin with a question, pose to you a question, and that's simply, why is it that we're all here? What's the purpose of us all being here this evening? And my sense of it is this, if I may, is that we're all here to explore and better understand and learn how to leverage creativity at higher levels in business, because we're all in business. That's what we do. In fact, we're all engaged in business all the time. We're either on the receiving end, or we're involved in the process and the delivery of a product or service, or we lead that process. In any case, we're all engaged in business. So I'd like to suggest a very simple idea, and one that I think is extremely powerful. And it's this, is that business is a human art. Business is a human art. That's what it is. I mean, we have a lot of art forms in the world, don't we? We think about painting, we think about music, we think about all the different varieties of ways that we become creative in our world. And yet what I would like to suggest to you is this very simple and powerful notion, is that the most advanced art form that we participate in is business. Because the sustainability and the creativity that flows from all the various forms of art in the world at one point or another wind up being business. And if you look at our world around us over the last 150 years, it's absolutely incredible the level of creativity and innovation which has shown up in our world. It's business. Because business is at the forefront. We all engage in a capitalist society, and as a result of that, business drives us. It is who we are. And that's very fundamental. That's important for us to get, because every idea, every creative idea winds up in one form or another in our world through business. So that being said, let me connect some dots for you around this idea of business as an art. And it's really this simple. And let me give you my own definition of creativity, because it is so human. It is creativity is human. The term that we use the most these days is innovation. So here's my definition of creativity. Creativity is the expression of human need and desire through ideas. It is. That's what we're doing, because it's the human aspect. And every product and service that's brought to market, what it's really all about is satisfying that human need. By the way, we have a term for that. It's called consumerism, right? It is. And we buy products and services to fulfill that need. What I'd like to suggest to you is that, and actually if you create a loop, a circle around this, you'll find that, in fact, that's where it also begins. Because it begins with human nature. It begins with our need and desire for the things that we want in our lives. And they also show up in our environments and cultures and in organizations, in marketplace, the way that it's intended to, for fulfillment. And so let me share with you, I'm going to share with you three ways in which we go about satisfying needs and desires, which are actually the need and desire themselves. One need and desire that we all have as human beings is for competition. We do. We live on competition. As a matter of fact, I believe probably in the way that we see the world today, that's the most accessible one. It is. Because we all have a tendency to want to be good at something. We all want to win. It's taught ever since we're little children to go out into the world and create success, to find our path, to find our strength, our expertise, whatever it is, to engage the world to be successful, to go out and what? To compete. Now, granted, we can do that in constructive and non-constructive ways or destructive ways. The thing about it is, if we're doing that in a constructive manner, we bring some beautiful, wonderful things to life in our world, don't we? And in organizations, that ability to compete with one another and do that in healthy ways is paramount to our success in the long term. It is. So we all want to be competent. We all want to be good at something. We always want the satisfaction of being good at what we do. And it's really that simple. Yeah, that's profound, isn't it? And by the way, some people tell me I'm not very competitive. And then the competitive side of me shows up and I say, yes, you are. And they say, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Well, there you go. I guess we're at it, aren't we? Yes, that desire to win. The second one is community. And we've heard a lot about that here this evening, community. And community is all about us getting fulfillment, getting a fulfillment of feeling self-worth, of feeling self-worth. See, what happens to us when we engage others and we connect with others, what we do is we give attention to one another. And that attention gives us a sense of self-worth. And so what happens, and what's so remarkable about this community piece, is the more we get that sense of self-worth, the more we become open about who we are, the more engaging we become. And that driver towards community is also necessary for the competition to occur. See, without community, you don't know how you can compete. You don't know how good you can be, because there's no feedback mechanism, is there? Even if it's critical, at least you've got a feedback mechanism. So you got to be able to take it into a community. Oh, by the way, communities also provide us with people to compete against. The thing is, what we do is we work together, and we see this explosion of community occurring out of this basic human need that we all have. And it is. And Facebook, Twitter, everything that you're seeing is really about the exchange of attention. Facebook is about, YouTube is about attention and the sharing of that, and how it is that we bounce ideas off each other, and then this bouncing of ideas creates that collaborative effort and the wonderment of what we can all do together in community. That's just incredibly powerful, isn't it? And then there's a third one. There's a third human desire and need, and it shows up in our products and shows up in our lives all the time. And it may be, in today's world, perhaps the most difficult to access. We're great at accessing competition. We've been great at it for a long time. We're learning to come back to, as our global expansion occurs, come back to community and be conscious of that and learn how to use it and work in teams and do better at sharing ideas. And then there's caring. Caring. In all of us, there's an innate desire so deep in our heart and soul, and that is for love and affection. We need that from each other. It allows us to be accepted. Unconditional love, acceptance of who we are. In some level, we all want to show affection to one another and caring. And it shows up in our world in miraculous ways, because when the chips are really down, we are just wonderful at caring for one another. The thing is, we don't really pay enough attention to it overall, do we? At least I don't think we do. And yet, when you think about what the future looks like and what the greatest challenges of business are that are in front of us, it's all about caring. It is. It's about using competition to innovate, to create products and services, to bring to market, to do that through community, and to share ideas and bring that to just a magnificent level of capability to do what? In the end, to really take care of one another. And if you look at the challenges that face us, the greatest challenges of our time are all about caring. As the population of the world grows, we need to figure out how it is that we feed that population, how we provide water and sanitation and living conditions. Don't we? And we also need to look out for each other's health and well-being in a holistic way. And that's what caring is all about. It is. And by the way, this is fundamental in organizations, because leaders are great at driving competition. They press hard enough, and they set up systems that work well enough, we can get collaboration. Caring, that's the one we've got to really participate in. And the more that we show caring, the more that we show that to the people in our organizations, the more powerful we'll, of course, turn that outward into the world. Which leads me to the last one, which is if we don't, then we're not going to be able to overcome what I believe is the greatest challenge of business in our time: distrust. Distrust. Without trust, people can't be open. We can't be vulnerable. We can't step outside of ourselves. So it is about that, isn't it? That trust. When we care for someone, they get that we trust. They trust us. So here's my challenge to you. As you leave here today, think about a couple of things. Number one, in my world, in my business, how do I use competition? How do I use community? How, in fact, do I show caring? And as an individual, as you leave here today, the final thought that I have for you today is just this. How can I go out and show my caring to the world and create success by doing that? That's it. Thank you.